What's up, comic book fans? Mine didn't work off.
I was gonna say, did you just open that with your forearm?
I did! Welcome to 2023. I'm Dinosaur Neil.
And I'm Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we're Imperius Rex. Welcome.
That's right. Hope you had a great 2022.
Yes.
Because right now, spookiest time of the year.
Yeah! Oh, is it ever?
Junjiuary.
Junjiuary is upon us.
That is right. Kicking off 2023 with abject horror and despair, just like we ended 2022.
Exactly.
So it's a gentle transition.
Yep.
So over the last 3 years, it's become something of a tradition to read a Junji Ito comedy classic every Halloween.
Yep.
And we always have such a good time. In the past, we did Uzumaki.
Yeah.
We did Gyo.
Yep.
As we learned, that's how it's pronounced. We never pronounce it that way in the video. And the Shiver collection. Yep. And my God, we just have a blast.
What a blast.
Yep. So we thought, why do we just hold this? Why do we deprave ourselves of this enjoyment?
Exactly.
It's like we're getting off on withholding.
Yeah. So well, not anymore.
No, we thought, let's just kick off the year right. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Junjiuary.
Yeah.
In hindsight, would have made more sense to do it in June. And to start it off, we have not one, but two spooky bookies. Remina and SENSOR.
Yes.
Sensor.
We're probably gonna...
There's an O.
Spoiler up front. We've probably said these wrong. There are names in these books we're not even going to attempt to say.
No.
I actually just skipped over them and be like, I don't want to spend 10 minutes trying to repronounce this word every single time. I'm like, okay, I know who this is, and I just equate them.
There is one particular name that I was able to remember, and let me just, well, obviously I didn't remember it, but let me consult my notes. Bucula.
See, this is what I'm talking
about. Maybe
I
misspelled it in my notes, because I thought there was more of a ring to it. It's like, oh, it's how you would pronounce Dracula. So I think it's Bucula.
Yeah, yep, we'll go with that.
Today we're talking about these two books with similar themes, both dealing with deranged cults and cosmically apocalyptic horror.
Yes.
Or comically apocalyptic horror, since it is the Junji Ito way. Before we get too far along, though, there is something missing.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're a bit of a trio most days.
Yeah,
but, our co-host, Troy to the Max,
yep.
He has a new baby at home, so he's been a little distant.
And he might still just be under a post at home.
That's right. We don't know. We need to do a quick sit rep. We're going to check on him.
Yeah.
Probably the only way we know how.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and we're going to see if we can do a quick summoning here. We'll move out little Hideo. He really serves no purpose, but I bought this. What the fuck else am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
You ever used one of these before?
Yeah, light as a feather, stiff as a board, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
Also, have you come lately?
All the time.
All right, good. You're going to want to go into this with clean pipes.
Okay, you got it.
The spiritual flow.
Right.
As we'll learn about in other Junji Ito yarns.
This is correct.
All right. Troy, are you here? Okay. Have the stones claimed you? How about a knife? Knife in the foot.
Post?
Oh,
a post?
Oh. Post? Are you under a post? Go to yes if you're under a post. Nothing. I think he's okay then. Okay. He's still among the living.
He's alive.
Yep.
We figured something out.
Yep, just on his way, probably a little behind. Gotta make one of those Katayama entrances there.
He
Sloop on in.
Sloop in, yeah.
All right. Well, with that out of the way, I think we can get down to business.
Absolutely.
We're assuming he's okay.
The Ouija board doesn't lie.
No, it's never lied.
No,
I mean,
absolutely
doctors
not.
use this. So one last quick little thing before we dive into it. Thought I'd give you a little Junji Ito trivia.
Ooh.
Really wasn't any way to blend those words together. Now, we're just going to go with Junji Ito trivia. Did you know that Junji Ito was the first manga creator to win the illustrious Eisner Award for Best Writer-Artist category?
That's wonderful.
And he did so with none other than the collected volume of Remina.
Excellent.
Right here. Originally serialized in 2004, this was a manga publication that ran over several magazines or issues or however they were distributed then.
No.
But it wasn't collected in the US until 2020. Which seems
Good
like
Lord.
a very long gap between these.
That is an interesting bit.
But enough about bits.
Yeah.
And interesting things in general. Let's get into the meat of
Yeah.
this. So Remina is the story of a scientist who discovers a new planet that has entered our solar system from another universe. He names it Remina after his daughter, and soon enough all of Japan has caught Remina fever. They love her, they love the planet, they love the whole vibe.
Yeah.
Until they don't. Then they realize that the steadily approaching planet seems to be snuffing out every other star and planet in the galaxy, and wouldn't you know it, it's headed straight for Earth. So his daughter's fast track to celebrity, which is apparently an occupation in Japan.
We'll talk about it.
Yep. Nosedives just as quickly as the entire world turns against her, blaming her for the planet's impending collision course with Earth, and it's up to Remina's eager fan club to escort her through the pre-post-apocalyptic streets of Japan before an angry mob can sacrifice her in an attempt to stave off Armageddon. So, first things first.
Yes.
This whole description happens in the first chapter.
Correct.
Like the first 40 pages.
Yeah. We, you reread this just not long ago and sent me a message.
Yesterday in a sitting.
Yeah, and I also read it in a sitting. So, either one of these, in straight up Junji fashion, you'll blow through them. This is pedal to the metal insanity throughout most of this book. All the plot points, they just knock it out.
Right up top.
Right up top.
You could have stretched that into like 150 pages, and he gets it done in 40.
If there's one thing I'd like to start on, it's we're gonna get before the shit hits the fan. Remina, or Remina, however you want to say it. There's probably a correct way.
I prefer to say it the wrong way. If you've seen the show before, you know that's kind of my thing.
Well, so she reluctantly becomes celebrity.
Right.
And that is the best description I could possibly give for it. She's famous for some reason. It never really goes into detail, like, oh, she's got these events and this, and she's got a fan club, but it never shows what she's actually doing.
You got a lot to say about that fan club, too.
We'll get to it. They're through the majority of this book, but it's just, I find it very interesting that Junji Ito cannot be bothered with any of these trivial details.
No.
He could have just said, she's a singer, she's a model, which has shown up in his books in the past.
Yeah.
Could have been wound up like old Tommy or
I was say model's a pretty dangerous occupation in the Junji Ito universe. You get gobbled up by that ghastly woman.
Yeah. But I just wondered, what does she do? And it could be anything.
Turns out, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Throughout this whole book.
She has like the classic, like nothing expression on the whole. She's
doe-eyed stare.
Yeah.
Yeah. The classic Junji.
Just
female character.
Nothing going on upstairs whatsoever.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
was
want
in 2004.
I don't want to jump to conclusions, but women are not treated very well.
No.
The one woman.
Right. It's like, maybe it's a cultural divide. I don't know. We don't have time. The planet is upon us.
Yeah.
In the span of a couple pages, they're like, oh, look, there's a new planet. Oh, look, Pluto's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, look, the planet now has a tongue, and it's actively eating Mars the way the owl eats a Tootsie Roll lollipop.
Yeah. Exactly.
This thing just kicks right off.
It does. It goes through all the planets like that, and before you know it, it's at Earth. But it's slowed down.
That's right. So, the fan club.
Let's do it.
It is led by this mustachioed president of the Remina fan club, who looks like he's in his mid-20s, and she's 16, and that's a little weird. You're like, do you have a job? What are you doing?
Fan club.
I guess so. Maybe that is also a job.
Exactly.
Fan club president to celebrity.
Yep.
There's also a whiny, spoiled little rich kid that wants to... Well, they all seem to have this desire to outdo each other on how much they love her.
Yes.
As if it's a contest that could be measured.
Yep, this other boy is like the son of her biggest sponsor. Or something like that. And he's like a grinning, sniveling little goblin boy. Like, he's always got like this big, like, toothy grin on him. He looks creepy.
Yeah. And when the shit starts to hit the fan, his family has a safe room that he tries to get her to come into, and like, we're gonna be great here. Actually, no, he wants that to bring her along on a shuttle. A shuttle into space to avoid the decimation of the planet with all those 1%ers. And the parents are like, no, you can't bring her.
Yeah,
She's the cause of it.
Yeah.
So he's like, well, we're gonna go in the safe room until you let her. He's like, don't worry, Remina. They'll come around. Also, I really like it. Can I touch you and can we bang? And she says no, and then he immediately spurns her. He's like, you fucking whore! I hate you, you dumb bitch!
Get out of here!
He brings his parents in, and they all ridicule her, throw her to the mob. Oh my god!
Yes.
There's also her manager, which I believe they refer to as Mr. Manager.
Correct.
Quite a bit.
Yep.
And there's a fourth suitor, I guess, that she eventually comes across, which is a homeless man. Every man she comes across either wants to have sex with her, kill her, or save her. Yeah. Making her drive completely nothing.
No, she is the thing, she is the widget you pull around to carry the story around.
Yes.
So, before we get to this, the homeless man deserves his own talking point.
Yes.
And we'll get to him.
We'll get to him.
But we want to talk about
we need a sit rep on this planet.
Yes, so this planet is just hovering around Earth. And you can see that it's got, like, little tongues coming out. And that it's going to lick the planet or eat the planet. We don't know yet. Yeah. But this is spurred on this insane cult. And it seems like, literally, there's 4 people who are trying to save Remina. And then everybody else on the planet is trying to kill her. Yes. Everyone else. Yep. And
they think that if they sacrifice her, it'll make the planet go away. Yes. She's the reason that it's coming to them.
This is correct.
They were just serendipitously named the same.
And they are quite literally out to crucify her.
Yes.
They even get her poor father, the scientist who named him, strung him up and speared him to death.
So that's the first time she's crucified.
Correct.
She does find her way back up on that cross once more. This time, she's re-crucified on top of the burnt corpse of her father.
Of her father, yes.
And I was like, holy shit, this is like probably the darkest Ito book we've read on the show. I don't know if it's the contender for the darkest of all time, but at least this one, I mean, I still had a lot of fun with it. But it's way more brutal and, like, mean-spirited.
Very mean-spirited.
The violence is a very real violence. While it's still fantastical, what with the licking planet and all, a lot of, like, the horror is just, like, how fucking awful everyone is to Remina.
These poor...
For no reason.
Yeah, these humans who just want to kill her to that thinks that they're gonna make this planet go away.
Yes.
But guess what? It ain't going away.
No.
So they're running away from... It's just like a big chase scene.
Yeah, the entire... 150 pages after that initial setup.
If you think they're just running around...
You've got another thing coming.
Hold on to your butts, because they put the pedal to the metal. Because once they pretty much find this homeless man, who's like a new character introduced like 3/4 of the way through this book. And he ends up being the main character through the rest of it.
Right. She's running from the mob and hides in his little shanty.
Yeah.
And then the mob finds them and you're like, what are you doing with this guy, you fucking whore?
Yeah!
You don't like me, but you like him, you slut! Grab them both and just wreck their shoulders into next week.
Yeah, absolutely.
The torture they do on these people's shoulders It
Immeasurable.
just bowls me over.
Yes,
I've
it
never
does.
seen it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this planet, he's getting hungry.
He's got a taste for planets.
He wants to taste this planet.
Yep.
Galactus, get out of the way. The planet reaches out this gross tongue and licks the planet and makes it start spinning so fast that people are flying through the air.
It puts some spin on that.
Yeah.
It's Armageddon at this point.
Absolutely.
Like, the streets are in flames. Buildings are just crashing by the hundreds.
Yeah.
People are getting crushed. And the whirlwind and the gravitational shift and the subterfuge has just created almost like an Uzumaki type of wind-walking scenario.
Yes.
Where people can just leap through the air and ride the gusts of
And they're
winds
all okay with it.
all across the globe.
Yeah, they are literally flying over like, hey, there's South America. Hopefully we land soon. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
It is the equivalent to, like, the Indiana Jones plane on the dotted line
Yeah.
over the map. If they zoom back any further, I think you would see the printed name of the continent.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
they're going over.
As you would in a real plane.
They have such a crowd after them.
Yeah.
Like, they're flying through the air for what feels like half the book.
Yeah. And
There's,
everyone
like,
else is
2
still, like,
chapters.
chasing them. They're, like, swimming through the air.
And the cult leader is just, like, leading the charge. He has, like, this Ku Klux Klan looking bag over his face that you can only see his little eye slits.
Yeah.
Which actually kind of look like Remina's eye.
Yeah.
Because the planet also has an eye. We notice that when a shuttle goes up to check it out, and it just goes like...
Yeah. Yeah. What you doing here?
Yeah. And they end up crashing on the planet. And then that becomes a whole other side story.
Yeah.
But, yeah, essentially the cult leader is chasing them. They're jumping all around. At one point, he gets a hold of Remina, and he's whipping her around the air like a foxtail.
Yeah.
And then the homeless guy is like, oh my god, this is the end of the world, but I'm gonna beat the shit out of that guy at least. And the cult leader's up on this building, and he's literally just smashing
slamming it
Remina
down.
on the side of the building. And then off they go into the air.
Yep.
At one point, as they're just being gusted across the globe, Remina wakes up and she's like, well, how's this happening? And his explanation is, it's just happening. We've got bigger fish to fry. Which I think is the best way to describe anything he's ever written.
Yes, that is correct.
And eventually the mob is behind him, and it's this thing all around the world, a full globe-trotting adventure.
Yes.
Until, like, then they just crash into the ground.
Yep.
And they're on the run again.
Yep.
And eventually they make it to the safe house that we've already established.
Yeah.
And they all get in there, close the door right as the planet Remina chomps down on Earth and obliterates it from existence.
Yep.
And manages to just shoot the safe room out into the stratosphere. And they're all okay in it. They're just hurtling
fine.
through
They're
space.
off in space.
In this just chunk of foundation.
Yep.
And,
they're like, we got a year to live.
yep, there's enough supplies in here for a year.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yeah. And that's...
And then the planet turns around and leaves.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the end. They're
That's
just in the... Yep, there's no resolution. They're off in a capsule somewhere. Real quick, we gotta talk about the
there's
quick
a couple
little...
other
we
little
gotta
things.
talk about this whole side plot. There's some people who want to go land on this planet Remina.
Yep.
And they...
The Elon Musks of the world. We're like, you know what? This planet's gonna eat Earth. Let's just go live on this planet. What could go wrong?
So
turns out,
what's funny is
what could go wrong?
My favorite little bit of this is obviously this isn't going to go right for the people on the planet, but like the head of her supporters, that's the people, and this little sniveling kid are the ones who want to go up. They apparently had a son named something or other.
Yes.
And then he thought he was getting signals from someone who had a kind of similar name,
sounding
but
name.
not the same name. And he's like, that must be him.
Gotta be him.
Gotta be him.
He always wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
Obviously, he changed his name.
Yeah, exactly. That was his rationale for them to leave, to fly to Remina, where they land and immediately die on the planet's surface.
And also find out it wasn't him.
Yeah, exactly.
Just another guy with a different name.
Exactly.
But the ship crashes, and they're like, oh shit, this place sucks.
Yeah.
We thought for some reason that it was going to be a paradise.
Yeah.
And they get there and they're like, we don't need, like, the rocket's fucked. We only have enough oxygen in our helmets for like 2 days.
Yeah.
We need to find out if this putrid-looking air is breathable. And they're all scared to take off their helmets, so they're like, grab one of the injured. Take his helmet off.
Yeah.
And they do, and he's like, whoa, what are you doing? And they're like, go on, take a deep breath. What's it taste like? And then he just immediately screams and melts. And then they're like, ah,
what
shit.
We're boned.
Yep.
Yep.
So that was something that, I mean, I think we saw coming since the beginning of the book, but it was nice to see play out as it would.
Yeah, as far as how much of this book has any plot in it whatsoever, that's a weird bit of plot that's a big chunk of the book, actually.
Yeah. We also find out that the fake astronaut, the son who the chairman thought was the astronaut, is actually the homeless man.
Yes.
So he knew about this safe room, so that's why they go to the safe room.
Yes.
Otherwise, doesn't really matter.
No. Actually, that twist, I was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Why was he there?
So, overall, I would say this might be one of the most straightforward, direct stories I think he's ever told.
Absolutely is.
It's a ride.
Boy, is it ever!
There's some really great, like, horrifying big spreads of the planet, like, just looking down at them amidst all the destruction.
If there's one thing that Junji Ito still gets perfectly right, is that when it, like, he's got, like, really clean people features, typically. Like, there's not a lot of mess in them. But when it gets real dark and liney and messy, like, it's terrifying to look at. And everything is so abstract that it makes it so almost haunting to look at.
Yeah, yep. I would say, especially comparing the two, this is so inky and muddy looking when it needs to be. And Sensor, which we'll get to shortly, is very, like, delicate and soft feeling through a lot of it.
It even has, like, shading, which Remina doesn't have, which I found strange.
And I don't know if that was, like, a very conscious effort, or is it maybe the fact that these are, like, 20 years apart, or the printing, or I don't know, but they look very different.
Yes.
So one last thing about this, as we kind of hinted at the beginning, the major negative of this is the main character of Remina is just a nothing person. Yeah. She says, contributes nothing. She doesn't want to be associated with anything that's going on around her. Yeah. She's constantly just being tortured, ogled, or saved by various men that she comes across. And you could definitely make an argument that it's a fairly misogynistic view. I don't know if that was intentional, if it's like, look what these fucking terrible guys are doing to this girl. But they also don't ever give her any agency to do anything about it. She's just constantly being saved throughout it.
Rarely does she have anything to say but where she's just in trauma. She's literally traumatized this entire book. Yes. It's very brutal.
Yeah. As I was reading this, not only the theme, but the feel felt very much like a Lars Van Trier joint.
God, yes!
Especially, like, Melancholia which is also about a planet that's crashing towards Earth. Yeah. And everyone just, like, alright, I guess this is it. We're all gonna fucking die. This has a bit more action, but it still has the same mean spirit towards women that we've come to expect from a Lars Van Trier epic.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, and this did come first. I believe Melancholia was 2011.
Wow.
So Junji beat him to the punch. Wow. And then Lars probably punched a woman. Yes. I assume he does.
Yes. So our next book in our double...
Spooky Booky.
In our Junjiuary first up here.
Spooky Booky Kabuki.
Ooh!
Is Kabuki Japanese?
I hope so.
Hope so,
We're going to keep it. We're going on
Unless we find out it's not and it's misconstrued as racist. Yes. Then you won't even see this.
I just want to say
just
that up top.
Right up top. Get it off your chest.
Up top, this is one of these books where it seems like Junji Ito was surfing around Wikipedia discovered what volcanic hair was and wrote a whole book about it.
I assumed that was something he made up. I don't know. Is it?
I didn't actually do the research to find out if it's real.
Didn't have any Junji trivia. Juvia.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yep.
We're getting there.
By the end of the month, we'll have it down, and then it'll be completely
useless. This book is literally about one topic of interest that may or may not be real.
Yeah.
But we're gonna go with it.
You could say that about any of his books, actually. Yes. So this was written in 2018 and collected in America in 2021.
Nice.
So this is a very quick turnaround.
I'll say.
Yeah, I guess they were just riding the wind on Remina, and they're like, oh, I've got another one for you.
Yeah.
And this was originally serialized under the name Travelogue of the Succubus, which is a very odd name for this. I don't feel like there's a woman in this.
She's not a succubus.
No, I was going to say she fits the normal Junji Ito woman protagonist, as she doesn't really say or do anything. Gets captured a lot, gets put up on a cross a few times.
Yes, this is true.
So odd titling there. Maybe there's something in the translation that didn't quite make it. But also, I think Censor is kind of a weird title too. Mm-hmm. So, pick your poison, I guess. Yeah. And this one focuses, again, on a cult obsessed with a cosmic aspiration that seems to appear around a volcanic mountain. Yeah. And rains down this hair-like golden volcanic fibers that you described. And then it centers on an aloof woman, as we've said, who wanders into the village and basically just gets dragged along from various weird occurrences throughout this. Mm-hmm. This one fits more his normal, just meandering style, where there's kind of a central theme. Yeah. But then every chapter is just this other really weird offshoot that kind of ties in with it, but not really. This felt like Uzumaki to me in that structure.
This one actually has like a main character with substance.
Yes.
He's like a reporter or like a journalist who like...
I believe his title, as they say many times, is a no-name reporter.
A no-name reporter.
As if that is actually a title.
They call him that a lot. This poor guy.
And this guy is a spitting image of the TikTok comedian that just makes those videos about the retail store.
Oh, the Sam Seiss guy? Yes!
He looks exactly like him.
He sure does.
So the entire time, every time he wandered into somebody, he'd be like, oh, you want to speak to the manager, huh? He ends up crossing paths with the woman. Her name is Byakuya. Dracuya.
Yeah, there we go.
And they encounter various villages that are obsessed with this weird cosmic force. Yeah. Which may or may not be like a reincarnation of a martyr, like a Christian martyr that died there. Yeah. Was thrown into the volcano, I believe.
So there is some cool history stuff going on in this book, which I found actually kind of cool, is that like they talk about like the Edo period in Japan when like Christianity was becoming like a bigger deal, or the hot new thing, I guess you could say, in Japan.
Hey kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you heard about the hot new thing?
There's only one guy this time, but he's 3 different guys.
That's right.
It's pretty neat. So there's a martyr that is like the one guy who's like big into Christianity, and they're like, we don't like you.
Fucking lousy about Christianity.
Fuck yeah. I'd be in a volcano with you.
Volcano.
And then, ever since then, there have then been these golden hairs that erupt from this volcano and have some...
Because he was a golden-haired lad.
Exactly. As maybe a Jesus was or something. Nah, I don't think so.
No one in that area was blonde. I don't care what portrait your grandma has up above her kitchen table. Well, yeah. That's not what Jesus looked like.
Willem Dafoe is my only Jesus. Thank you very much.
He was a good Jesus.
Yeah.
He was blonde. Yeah. All right. You've turned me around on this.
Very good.
I'm all in for Christianity.
The woman in this goes to this village at first. There's like 2 main characters. I'm going to say her and him through most of this.
I will not argue.
Pardon me if those are not their pronouns, but we're going to go with that for now.
All right.
So she goes to this village that apparently like had been destroyed 60 years prior. Yeah. So she's like, what's going on? But there's all these...
back.
It's back,
in a big way.
but it soon disappears.
Yeah, it's not back for very long.
No. But like
But there's another village.
Exactly.
But that one also
correct.
Destroyed.
She goes to this village and they're like, oh, a new person's here. And they pretty much like, they all have like these golden sprout hairs. Yeah. And they essentially like...
Something happened. What is it? Like... yeah. I thought it was something that I could easily explain, but I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all the villagers are trying to like transcend into almost like an astral plane and communicate with this martyr. Yes. And they do some heavy meditating, the first of many in this.
And they will always exclaim, meditation! Meditate!
Yeah. Meditate harder! Yeah. Which works.
It does.
And they're able to go up into like the stratosphere, and what they think is this like Christian god is actually this malevolent entity, which then just like eradicates the town and all the people, and she is survived because there's like a golden cocoon hair that covered her, and now she may have clairvoyant powers.
Yes, but there's also like the antithesis, which is like this black hair that rains down. It's like it's just the exact opposite. It's the yin and yang of it all.
Mm-hmm. Which is personified by this evil cultist who we are introduced to. Yeah. The second evil cultist of this, this episode. Also, this is all in the first chapter as well. Yeah, yeah. But yes, this evil cultist comes in, he strings her up in almost like I had like some Midsummer vibes of like their little commune and everything.
Yeah, they had like even like a pyramid tent looking thing. Yeah.
And they're gonna communicate and usher in this dark deity, and then it all goes to hell, and the village is destroyed. And the dark creature in this is just a big cloud. Yep. A big black brain cloud. Which they call the cloud, and they say it's like, it holds the secrets to all the universe. So they're going to meditate really hard and then just unlock all the secrets of the cosmos. I think the shorthand is they call it like the ancestral plane or something like that. Yeah. But either way, it's just a big-ass cloud, and it just decides to smush them.
It does. It literally just does, like a big foot comes down and smushes them.
Yep. So that is kind of like the setup to this. And then it completely diverges from this path and does these little like short vignette stories, which I found the best part of the book.
They're very good.
The first one centers around a doctor, like a hypnotherapist, that tries to uncover her kind of third eye, what do we call it?
Transcendence?
No, that's what I call it. You said something else.
Clairvoyance.
Clairvoyance, yes. It has to do with like how much their senses are able to take in all this. I guess from sensor, and that's what the title is all about. And she is just like so full of energy.
All of the information from the universe,
from the cloud,
dumps into her brain all at once.
And he's just like fucking eating it up. Just like that planet Remina. He's just mentally licking her up and down. Yep. To the point where it overwhelms him and his head just like balloons up. All of his sensory organs just like go Elephant Man. Yep. And he explodes and like blows out the window. Yeah. Correct. Loved it. This whole thing, I'm like, this is pretty good, but there's no, like, really weird Junji Ito body horror. And I turned the page, and I was like,
there it is. There's some guy's tongue ballooning up to the side. Yeah. All of these side plots also, like, are all, like, kind of carried by No Name Reporter. Mm-hmm. So he's off, like, investigating, essentially, this woman to get the big scoop. And this is where you run into all these little individual sidetracks.
Yes. So the setting of the next short little vignette story is at a tea shop on the edge of a cliff where people go to commit suicide. Yeah. And I thought this was very funny. Yeah. Because the owners, like, constantly see people on the cliff and they're like, oh, no, don't jump. You have so much to live for.
I love it.
Hey, why don't we go grab some tea?
My favorite thing, they always walk up and they're like, what you thinking about?
Life's pretty rough, huh? Yeah. You know what helps me unwind?
Why don't you come and have some coffee?
Nice cup of Earl Grey.
These, like...
brilliant business decision on their part.
But, like, in true Junji Ito fashion, they're like, oh, but there's these big bugs that are just walking around all the time. Just watch out. Don't step on them.
Yeah.
Because they look gross when you step on them.
When you step on them, they look like corpses of humans.
Exactly.
Somehow.
So...
And also, the bugs are adamant to kill themselves.
Yes! I think this is maybe my funniest bit of this whole book.
Yes.
Is that these bugs at the suicide cliff want to die
so bad.
Like, there's a point where, like, they're trying to step around him and they keep rushing under the foot that's about to hit the ground and they're like, ah, 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 before they just start stepping on all of them like, I'm done with this shit.
Just these sad bugs that have had enough.
Because when they get squished, you can see they look like little human guys, and it's like, I don't know. So I kind of took this as, like, these are the people that jumped off the cliff. And they've kind of been reincarnated as these, like, bugs.
Yes, or killed themselves, because there was also a husband that jumped in front of a train.
Yeah.
And his severed head looked just like the head of the bug as it was smushed.
Exactly.
Yes. So they're just perpetually wanting to end their life.
Yeah. And so they keep telling out all, like, these dirty secrets where they start telling, like, I was your lover once, you cheating bitch!
Yeah.
Like, it's like one of the ones that
Step on me!
Yeah, step me, squish me! But, like, now that, like, this actually kind of just dawned on me. I wonder if this has to do with that whole, like, Christianity versus what, like, kind of the religion that might have been. And unfortunately, I'm not caught up on what the Japanese religion, whether it be Buddhism or Taoism.
You're not a man
or
of the
something.
world.
Not quite. No.
We're still getting the names
But
right.
I wonder if, like, there's some incarnation stuff that's going on there
Probably,
that kind of ties into that, which is, like, it's conflicting with this new Christian world of wanting to help and save people all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's neat. This is just dawning on me, so there might just be some silence while we contemplate this.
Yeah, I'll take a moment and have some tea. Oh, you know what goes great with not killing yourself? Nice cup of chamomile.
Cup of green tea.
And then I think the last of just the little weird side stories involves those, like, street corner traffic mirrors.
This one was strange.
This one was weird, too, because it goes into a lot of stuff that really doesn't need to... We don't need to spend time on it. We gotta keep this moving.
Yeah,
This is Junjuary.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But I did love that it turns out the cult is behind these mirrors in the way they're positioned, so they can almost, like, spy on people from all across the globe.
Yeah.
And there's this one part, I feel like if Troy was here, he would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
This driver, like, runs into one mirror, and he's like, oh, shit, sorry. Backs up, just like runs into it again. It's like, oh, fuck, oh my god,
No.
sorry.
I'm fine,
oh,
I'm
Jesus.
fine.
Alright, I got it.
Yeah.
Like, it goes down.
Even
You
gives
just
some
see him, like, hitting, like, 3 more down the street.
He even gives some shitty excuse, too. I can't even remember what it is.
Who put these mirrors here? But yes, as it turns out, he's part of the cult, and they're just kind of repositioning them to get the perfect voyeuristic view or something.
Yeah.
I didn't love that one, but I thought that bit was really good. And I thought it was even better before I learned that he was in on it. I just thought it was just a typical Junji Ito bad driver type of guy that just like kept running into this pole. As it turns out, that pole was made for him.
Exactly.
It's my pole. Through all their travels, they eventually wind up back in front of the evil cult, and they're out, like, in the woods again. And the cult leader, who was smushed and lit on fire by the big brain cloud...
He lives!
He's back! And he's all bandaged up like the Invisible Man.
Yeah!
And they have a bit of a showdown there. Not so much as a showdown as they crucify everybody, as they tend to do in these, and kick them into a volcano.
Yeah.
But before they do, the woman and the cult leader, their hair kind of fight.
Yeah!
I guess.
Yep.
And they both go spiraling down into the darkness, and then Junji Ito decided that was the end of the story, and the book is over. But I think it's some sort of analogy for, like, the eternal struggle between light and dark.
Yes.
But I found, as I was telling you before the show, as I was kind of reviewing my notes, I didn't remember a goddamn thing about, like, the last 2 chapters of this. I was looking through it, I was like, did I even read this? As it turns out, I did.
Good, very good.
It just wasn't as impactful an ending as some of the stuff that came before.
No. As Junji Ito is to do, and kind of as we found out in both these books, they just end. Regardless of what you think the resolution needs to be, they're done.
It was a real Hellboy, that's that
Yeah.
type of ending.
Correct.
Well, the villain's gone, I guess. I mean, we could either explain it, or we could just call it good and everyone could go
Honestly,
home and step on some bugs.
I think I respect the hell out of this more than anyone trying to shoehorn in an ending.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Like,
No.
We can barely follow this book as is. Trying to end it would be a nightmare.
Yeah. Do you have anything else weird you want to throw in here? Any goofy spiral shit, Junji? No? Okay, we can be done.
Yeah, I wrote the end. It's just they fall into this volcano and they're done.
Yep, that's it.
I kicked them into a volcano. They're done.
Yeah. Out of the Junjis that we've experienced, this one was probably on the more forgettable side of the spectrum for me. While Remina was, I would say, the
opposite
the
side.
antithesis.
Yeah, exactly.
The light to the dark, or vice versa, however you want to
It's almost
classify
like we got the intention of this book and applied it to the two books that we read here today. Did we?
We can say
Leave
we
it
did
in the
that.
comments below.
Yeah, we can certainly say we did.
But what I will give credit to Sensory for is that, like, it's got an actual pretty fleshed out character in the No Name Reporter. Like,
the name itself, still working on.
Yeah.
His characterization.
Yeah.
That's
like,
where it counts.
At least it's following somebody through all of these events.
Yeah.
Where it's just not some random, like, we're in this one, Sensory, like, you kind of forgive the fact that, like, the other, like, I guess female lead, Draculia.
Byakuya.
Yeah, like,
Byakuya.
she doesn't have, like, the strongest personality or anything, but, like, you're not seeing it through her eyes, you're kind of seeing it through this no-name reporter's eyes. So, like, that's what I'll give credit for, is, like, you kind of see that, and the little, like, history element is actually kind of neat. Like, I kind of wish I knew more about the culture around, like, the time where he's trying to describe when Christianity took over in, like, Japan, because there's probably a ton more there that we're just not getting.
Yeah, and his stuff doesn't, at least I always preface with what we've read of his, it hasn't really been super historical or pulled a lot of stuff from that. So it is kind of cool to see a little bit of the culture put in. Yeah. Because, like, we know very little about the Japanese culture, so everything that's weird in this, we just chalk up to, it's a weird Junji Ito thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, maybe there are some elements of that are very surprising. We're like, oh, didn't know that.
Yeah.
People turn into snails over there. My God.
All the
Learn
time.
something every day.
Yeah. Like, Junji Ito is about the only manga we've read for the show, so, like, that's where all of our Japanese, like, straight content comes from. So...
I love when we finally go to Japan, because I'm sure the show will take us there.
Oh, yeah.
And we're just going to go around looking for the weird Junji Ito shit.
There's a less floating people here than I would have thought.
Sir, we have some beautiful temples. I'm looking for the balloon heads.
Yeah, and where do you keep your snail folk?
Yes. Overall, a nice start.
Excellent stuff for Junjiuary.
Nice start on our JUNJOurney.
We have a whole month of Junji Ito content lined up for you.
That's right. And if you're out there thinking, we're already almost halfway done with the month. Well, let me tell you, we're not going to let the end of January spoil Junjiuary. Junjiuary will go on as long as it has to.
It's the new Bat Year
has told us anything.
Exactly. So be on the lookout. What did you think? Have you read either of these two Junji Ito classics?
Which do you prefer?
Let us know in the comments down below. But hey, if you'd like to get into these discussions early, or anything like that, consider joining our Patreon, where you can get access to our Discord, where we have an awesome community talking about the Punisher movie from 2004, or maybe the Daredevil movie from 2003, I think. I don't know. They're both shit, but they're fun to talk about.
That's right. And we have a lot to say.
Yes,
because we just shotgunned them both.
Yep. Join us there for a bunch of conversations. There you get other perks as well.
Right. And if you want some cool merch like this,
yep,
you can find it on redbubble.com.
We sure do.
Didn't get this on Redbubble, but I'm sure there's something like it on there. But
Pretty
we have
close.
stuff on Redbubble,
We
too.
do have some Junji Ito-related Redbubble stuff of Troy stuck under the Provincial Post.
That's right.
So you can grab that on anything you'd like.
Which is going to get some mugs for us. Didn't have time.
Well, we'll make that. We'll work it out.
Junjiuary giveth and Junjiuary taketh away.
We do what we can
Light and
around
dark.
here. Yes, exactly. But until next time, where we get extra spooky and extra Japanese on the next episode.
Can we say that?
No, I'm not going to say that.
We're not actually going to do anything to appear more Japanese. Let me
We're
just
not gonna
put that out there.
We're not gonna Sean Connery ourselves from that one James Bond movie where he did that.
No, we are not.
Oh,
but join us next time to see if Troy makes it on over.
Yeah.
I've heard he might.
He read a book, so we'll see if he can come prepared.
That's right.
He might read it on the show.
Yep.
We'll see.
God.
Anyway, until next time, I've been Dinosaur Neil.
I've been Ghost Hunter Dave.
And we've been Imperius Rex. Catch you next time.